It's a fluffy.
She's so fluffy. She's my fluffy cat. Yay! Hello, everyone, and welcome. Oh no, what did I do? Oh, I have to click a account.
Oh god, the technical difficulties of Google Hangout now is unreal.
No, it was Twitter. I was like, why won't it let me send the tweet that we started? And I was like, oh, because I didn't select an account to tweet from. That was
Kind of important.
Maybe important. We'll see.
Evening. Happy November. I hope everyone in America had a lovely Thanksgiving.
Yay, turkey!
Turkey. I was like, I'm not going to do anything. And then the day before, I went to the grocery store and bought a lot of food and made far too much.
Well, you know, that's how you do Thanksgiving.
Exactly.
It's true. Today we are talking about Darth Vader.
Ooh.
I feel like we need the sound effects, but I can't do the breathing very well. There you go.
I know. Since this
Dear
one's
God.
theme is Disney, the only thing Disney we could get was Star Wars now that Disney owns Star Wars.
Probably should have done Haunted Mansion or something like that, but
Well, I really wanted to, but there's only like one issue out of like the Tiki Room, and I want to read the Tiki Room, but there's like one trait or one floppy, and you're like, well, we can't really, this is going to be a short review. So there are some
could
good.
have sung the whole song.
Yeah. Jeez. There are some fun and exciting Disney entity comics that are happening right now, like the Tiki Room and the Haunted Mansion. There just aren't enough of them for us to review at the moment, so maybe in future times we will be able to discuss those. For now, we're going to go to the Star Wars franchise, of which there are actually a lot of Star Wars Marvel comic books out right now. So Darth Vader has a series, Poe Dameron has a series, Leia has a series, Han Solo has a series, like basically everyone has a series, and then there's just like Star Wars series too. Are there any others that you guys are reading?
I was reading the Lando series, and God, there's like one more. I don't. Mainly all the Star Wars ones.
Yeah,
it was just Lando and Darth for me.
I'm reading the
It's a lot to
Poe.
keep track of. Oh, I'm reading Poe. Yeah, Poe's my like
Poe
favorite
because
one.
he's so darn cute.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, right. That's why you read comics, because you think the characters are cute.
Same reason we watch movies and listen to certain bands, right?
Yes. I'm Summer. I forgot to introduce ourselves. I'm Summer. I'm reading Poe and Vader.
I'm Meghan, and I'm reading Vader, and I read Lando. But you know me, I'm a DC queen.
Your Wookiee shirt.
Yes,
Let the
I'm
Wookiee
Travis.
win!
Oh my
Sorry,
God, I love that shirt. No, that shirt's amazing. Oh my God, well, I'm Travis. I try to read all the Star Wars ones, but like, there's just so many. It's hard to keep track of them all.
I know.
That's the life of comics, right?
I have like Leia #1 too. I was gonna read at some point in life, but we'll just put that off for when I have time ever.
Good luck with that.
Never.
Yeah.
So this particular book about Darth Vader follows Darth Vader, shockingly enough, and it kind of picks up from the end of A New Hope, which is the first Star Wars movie where they destroy the Death Star.
First or fourth, depending on how you want to count them.
I'm not including spoilers in this because the movie is very, very old, and if you don't know that they destroyed the Death Star at the end of the Star Wars movie, you don't deserve to be listening to this.
Somebody's like, "Oh my God,
the good guys win." But this picks up from the end of A New Hope and kind of follows Vader in the transition between that movie and the next movie, I guess. I mean, they don't get very far in this first trade, but I think that's where they're headed. The writer is Kieran Gillen. Am I pronouncing his name anywhere near correctly?
I think so. I've heard it like one time in my life. So
yeah. So he's probably most well known for also writing The Wicked and the Divine. I read his Young Avengers run.
Oh yeah, that was a good run. I like that.
Yeah. It was okay. I have some things. I liked it, but I wanted more. And then the artist is Salvador LaRocca, and he's done some other things as well. Then there's a bunch of other people. You've got letterers, colorists, the editors, and things like that as well. But those are kind of the two main people, I think, right? The colorist is Edgar Delgado. Colorist, which we'll get into all that later. But initial thoughts. What did you guys think? Have either of you read this before?
Yes, I read it when it first came out. I absolutely loved it. I didn't think I was gonna like it because, like, weirdly enough, Vader is not one of my favorite characters in the Star Wars universe. So I was kind of like, I know, right? I'm one of those people. I was just like I'm like Anakin's story more than like Vader's story. I wasn't sure, but the way they sort of intertwined it, like with that and then the Star Wars series, like it worked really well. So I'm a big fan. I think it was a really cool story.
I had picked up issue 1 and a couple different variant issues because I am a huge Vader fan. My text tone is Darth Vader reading. So, but I never got around to reading it. In fact, I have a whole box. I'm very behind right now on a lot of comics. So I had no idea what to expect. I liked it. I have, some comments, some thoughts, but I love seeing Vader. So that works for me.
Yeah. I'd never read this one before, and I'm not a huge Vader fan either, Megan. Sorry.
I'm always the odd one out.
To be fair, I really love the Death March. I really love that song. But, like, yeah, right? I feel like, I guess, sympathize with the bad guy, and you can't really sympathize with him in the 4 through 6 movies, and the first 3 movies you just don't want to sympathize with him because he's so not good.
Well, how do you feel about him after reading 1 through 6 now?
Oh, actually, wait, reading this? Or
yeah. Yeah, this.
The same. So you guys both seem to enjoy this. I was not a huge fan of this book. I can't say that I will be reading any more of the trades at the moment. It didn't really capture my attention that much. It wasn't
until 5 or 6 that it started to get my attention.
Yeah. I mean, they started picking things up, and like I could see where they were kind of going with things, but I was like, I don't know. I guess.
Yeah. It is what it is. Empire side of things. You just want to stick with the Rebel Alliance.
Yeah, I'm totally a rebel, I think is what I've learned from trying to read this.
It's definitely one of those where, like, I continued reading it. Like, it's canon, so I kind of like, well, I want to know what happened, like, type of deal. Because there was a bunch of slow moments in it for me where I was like,
yeah.
Well, I think that's part of your comment about it being canon. I think that's part of why it is hard to get into. Like, I'm a Star Wars fan, but I'm not a huge, crazy Star Wars fan. Like, I love it, but I've never really delved deep into anything else, which obviously that with now where The Force Awakens, there's a whole new split with everything. But
yeah, oh my God, so much.
So it is, you're reading it and it's referencing things from the different movies and the worlds and stuff, and you're kind of lost not knowing a whole lot. If you're not a huge Star Wars fan, you're just kind of like, okay, and you just keep going. But and so that in that point, it was hard. And I feel like to really enjoy it, you probably need to be a bigger Star Wars fan. But then again, there is that whole thing about, do you really care about Darth Vader or not? And if you don't, it's really kind of pointless. You're not going to want to read it.
Yeah, I mean, I consider myself a casual Star Wars fan. Like, I've seen all the movies. Well, I haven't seen the 3rd movie at all because that movie was not going to be worth my time.
That was in my opinion, that was the best of the first 3.
The best of the first 3 movies. Oh my God!
If you sat through 1 and 2, you should do 3.
If you find 3 at some point.
Yeah, 3's better than 1 and 2.
Good. Well, I've seen the original trilogy a bunch of times, and I've seen 1 and 2 once, and then was like crying my eyes out that it was so bad. And I really enjoyed the new movie. So I mean, but that's pretty much the extent of my Star Wars knowledge. So like, I'm not into like Clone Wars and all the like spin-offs, and I haven't read all the crazy. I mean, there's
so many other books.
Oh,
yeah. Although I will say, just as a total aside, an ex loved and read all the different books, so I grabbed one book and read it, and it was called Scoundrels, and I highly recommend it because it's like Ocean's 11, but with Han Solo and his crew, and it's kind of in between the original 3 movies. It takes place in there, so that one's definitely worth reading for a fun book, but yeah, I haven't done any of the extra stuff either. You see the Mara Jade and the Skywalker twins and whatever, but
yeah,
it was the movies and that. I mean, I loved them. I do all the Disney races.
Oh, I did watch all the Ewok adventures though.
Oh my god, you won't watch the 3rd movie, but you watch the Ewok adventures.
Because
I love the Ewoks.
I do too.
They're so cute.
Is there an Ewok comic? Because I totally read that one.
I don't think there is. There should
That'd be so great.
Dear Marvel, we're petitioning for an Ewok comic.
I'll even read it with C-3PO as their like god figure too.
Yes.
Their god
figure. Yes. Like a future book after that happens.
Yes.
Well, let's get into talking about some of the characters, because I think some of what we've touched base on so far is already the fact that a lot of this does stem on knowledge that hopefully you have previously. So there's a lot of characters that come up that you're reintroduced to in comic form. So like you have Darth Vader, you have the Emperor, you have Boba Fett, and you have Jabba the Hutt, and General Tog, or however you say his name. I'm really bad at pronunciation.
I don't remember
all of these names are the worst.
I know.
So you have like these characters that are in the movie series, and then you have some new characters as well. So I guess talk to me a little bit about some of the old characters first that you guys kind of connected to, or I guess
connected to is probably the wrong word. I mean, who connects to Emperor Palpatine?
Hopefully he was actually one of the ones I was most excited to see for some reason. I don't know why I'm fascinated by him and his old self.
Well, I think part of with Emperor Palpatine, they always say a good villain, feels like they're doing things for the right reasons, but you don't get that feeling with Emperor Palpatine.
Right, he's just a dirty guy.
Yeah.
I guess probably also because I, feel like I slept through the first 3 prequel movies. I'm not quite sure. You kind of come from this place where like the Empire is this bad entity.
Evil, dark.
Yeah. They've like taken over in a bad way. So the leaders are bad. What good should be, but you don't really actually get into like their politics and their policies of like, what are you actually trying to do? You're just blowing up planets. Like, do you have an end goal?
Is that all you do? I feel you on that one.
I'm sure they do. I just don't know it because I haven't
sat through number 3.
Sat through movie 3, and there has to be something like what is their end goal like besides just destroying all the Jedi?
Right. I feel like the old canon like kind of delved into that more, but then like they scrapped it all, so now we have like the new canon and kind of like, oh, it's another mystery.
Well, who I did love to see, Boba Fett makes a brief appearance in this, and I think it's really interesting to see Darth Vader interacting with Boba Fett, because obviously if you watch like the second movie, you know that becomes a plot point that somehow they must have had some sort of communication in order to carry out the plan. I mean, I can't not spoil this movie for you guys. You have to see Star Wars before you.
Yeah, just go for it. Don't worry about it. It's okay.
So basically, Boba Fett's got Han Solo in carbonite, and in this book, Darth Vader's like, bring me him alive, so you actually see this meeting of them.
Basically, when he was hired to carry out, yeah,
he's like, I want this. So it's a little bit different from the movie because, Jabba wants Han, but, when everyone gets to Cloud City, you see, like, Vader and Boba Fett at Cloud City. So this is kind of like the precursor meeting to that, like, we're gonna do some dealings.
Right, which now that you're speaking of that, I mean, because the first couple, the first book opens up with Jabba, and there's, he's Darth Vader's there a day early meeting with Jabba for his own personal issues, and he's supposed to be there the next day for official Empire business. So, but we don't see the second day with Jabba, so maybe the second day has some dealings with Han and Jabba and Boba. I don't know. I haven't read past 1 through 6.
Yeah.
But you can see kind of that because we don't get back to that second day. We go back on Vader's personal issues, which obviously goes back to Luke Skywalker a little bit.
Yeah, that's my favorite part of the series.
Yeah, I did like the flashbacks to kind of the movie scene. So you kind of have these moments where Vader's kind of remembering his interactions with Luke as he's kind of figuring out that, oh, shoot, this is my son. So you kind of see these movie flashbacks told in comic form, which I think is really cool.
I think they're great too, but I just wish sometimes it wasn't clear to me that it was a flashback panel. I mean, you get it because if you've watched the movies, you know the scene and you're familiar with it. But there were a couple times you're like, wait, is this a flashback or is this the current? Like, it didn't pop out as much, and the way the panels were, I think it could have been a little bit clearer at times. Like if you hadn't watched the movies, you'd be like, what is going on?
Right. You just say, well, this is a mess.
My favorite moment from that, though, was when Emperor Palpatine's like, anything else to report, Vader? And then he kind of has this flashback of like him with Luke.
Yeah.
And, figuring out like the Force is strong with this one. And, then he kind of cuts back to the current scene and he's like, no, nothing else, nothing to concern you.
No.
So you're like, oh, he's actually like, that kind of like moment of what's on his mind. Because he's not a real chatty guy. So he doesn't really share his emotions with people or talk about what he's feeling. But having that kind of like those flashback moments are kind of like how we see into his
big
motivation.
Metal helmet.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the hard part too, especially with Darth Vader, is that like he wears a mask, and so you can't see any of his emotions, so you don't know how he's reacting in any situation. So it's kind of just like, don't talk to me, or like, now I'm going to kill people, and then goes back.
Although
to, like,
they do a good point of the panel with like his hand clenching, so they are trying to give you some emotion that they know, it's clear that they realize you can't get a lot of emotion because he has no face to depict it, but some of the way he stands and turns and clenching is the close-up panel on his hand kind of clenching. But it's also hard in comic form to his hand just makes me think about using the Force. I mean, and there are scenes in the comics where he is clearly using the Force to move something or strangle Jabba, and they
are dark side. They don't believe in the Force. They call it, what do they call it?
Nobody says it's like, we don't call it the Force. Or was it like, we don't call it Jedi, we call it the Force. Oh, I can't.
Yeah, I'm not a Jedi. I'm a Sith. But
yeah, stop calling me Jedi.
Yeah, but so that's hard to kind of depict in comic form. You just kind of see a hand reaching out.
I thought it was done pretty well because then you could kind of like see the wavy bit lines around the person that's being forced.
Yeah, I really like that little added detail. I was like, it's cute.
Maybe that's. So yeah, those are pretty much. We only get to see really the evil people, the evil characters, and then some flashback scenes.
Well, let's talk about that rogue archaeologist and the killer droids.
Yes. So then we get introduced to a couple of new characters. The first one being Dr. Afra. How did you guys say this?
Yeah. Dr. Afra.
I read it as Afra, yeah.
Great.
We're in agreement.
Yay!
So, Dr. Afra, I like her, but I don't get her.
Yes.
Because, I mean, she's only introduced halfway through this book. So the book covers the first 6 floppies, and we get to her in 3, I think.
Yeah, 3.
3 or 4. So
That's the thing with her. Her story does get better as it goes on. Like, she's
yeah,
one of my favorite characters.
Well, she's very
And I-
intriguing because she's clearly
Yeah.
doing different things, doing it her own way, and not surprised at Vader. And I think one of the most powerful things is after she helps him, she's completely ready to die. She is ready for him to kill her because she doesn't think he needs her anymore. And she, from the way she's speaking, she knew that the whole time, even going into this mission with him, which is fascinating to me.
Right, that she was so willing to do it. I was like, I can honor that. Like,
Because she's clearly about the
yeah,
adventure.
I think that was one of the things I liked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the things I
She's
liked
just-
best about her, was that kind of
and her like
moment
character
she had.
design too.
Yeah, her character
She's just
design is
really
pretty
well
cool.
done.
I would
And she's
like
now
to
getting her own
know.
series. So.
I saw that. I kind of accidentally spoiled myself for the end of what happens in.
Oh, she's getting her own book?
Yeah.
There's a possible. Well, because the actual Darth Vader run just ended, and so one of the things is that she probably will hopefully get her own spin-off book.
So he doesn't kill her.
Or does he?
Yeah, okay.
Right? That's true with all this weird downloaded consciousness stuff. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Well, I think it's pretty cool. So anyway, I like the fact that she's kind of this cool lady pilot. I guess she's kind of almost like the anti-Han Solo, if you have to describe her. She's got that like adventure spirit, but then, and good piloting skills. But she is like, oh, Darth Vader, Lord Vader, Sir Vader, what do I call you? Like, I'm here to serve you. Like, she doesn't even try to get out of working with him.
Yeah.
She's just
kind of like, oh, yeah, you're an Empire man who's probably going to kill me. Sure, I'll do whatever you want.
I like her.
It's a
Go
strange
get him
motivation,
And let's
what
go
he
find
wants
some
is
murderous droids.
yeah, what he wants is murderous droids. So I will provide murderous droids for you. Sure, no questions asked. And it's kind of interesting because everyone in the underworld of Star Wars, I feel like, when you're dealing with Jabba or someone, they're like, "What do I get out of this?" So even when you're dealing with someone who's morally questionable, like maybe Lando Calrissian or someone. You're like, oh, what do I get out of this? Like, yeah, sure, I'll screw over my friend, but you're going to keep things good for me, right? But she's just like, you're going to kill me? Sure, I'll do what you want. Like, I don't care. So that's where I was a little bit like, what's
up, girl?
motivation going into this? Like, she's not even trying to... I mean, not that she would win. He could very easily kill her, but, she's not even... It doesn't appear, at least right now, to try to get out of this situation.
Well, and they call her a rogue archaeologist.
Right.
So, yeah, it does make you wonder about her backstory, what got her into the position she's in anyway. Like, why is she unearthing these droids that have every known torture method in their conscious?
Right? I was like, kill people.
Yeah, let's talk about the droids. So we're introduced to two main droids in this book. The first one is 000, who's kind of like C-3PO,
but the dark side.
Like Mirrorverse C-3PO, to go Star Trek on you for a second. Like the evil version.
Or Underworld, if we want to go, or Underside, if you want to go Stranger Things.
Yeah, so basically the murderous version of C-3PO, which is interesting. I really actually liked this character, especially knowing C-3PO, because C-3PO is like, how can I help you today? I am here to serve you. I'm super talkative and very friendly. And this droid is too, but in a like, how can I help you today? Would you like me to murder someone for you? Like, sort of way.
Yeah, there was one... Yeah, when he was talking at one point and then said he like something about I've served better masters or kinder or something like that. And he's like, but that didn't stop me from drinking their blood and killing them.
Yeah. I like when they're going to the droids and he says in whatever native language, he's like, now you're on fire and dead. It like translates it for you.
I enjoyed that. Yeah. Yes. I have had more grateful masters. And then, the other droid bleep, and no, it didn't stop me killing them and draining their blood. I'm not sure what that has to do with anything, BT. Politeness costs nothing. I like the murderous 000.
Yes, I like 000. I mean, because you kind of have 000 and BT, so kind of this anti C-3PO and R2-D2 relationship, or pairing. They're pretty much the same, but they like BT is just murder bot.
Did we lose Travis?
We did. Hopefully, he'll find his way back in.
Oh, and when we were talking about the good old murder bots too.
Yeah, so basically,
I like it.
Just murder everyone on command. So it's like Darth Vader's running around with C-3PO and oh, there he comes. With C-3PO and R2-D2, but with 000 and BT, who are like the murder version of them.
Right, and they went to go find an army of murderous bots for Vader.
As one does.
Because that's what you do. But this whole thing, it was a world that Vader in his prior life had been to in the early 1, 2, 3 episodes with Padme, so it was kind of weird, and it was like the world had been cleansed or sterilized. And so then, but there was this queen who was building a new hive, but because she was sterilized, it was droids instead of things, and they were her children, and it was like, what is all this going on? Welcome back, Travis.
There's 2 Travises now.
I know. And we can't hear him.
Uh-oh, we can't hear you. Oh, your reaction is priceless. We don't need words.
Signs, they work. But yeah, so that queen and her robotic children that they clearly stole so he could have a murderous droid army.
Did he even use the murderous droid army?
When they landed on that rogue base and came across those other new characters.
Yeah, but I don't think they actually used them that
They were
much.
the ones they split into 2 squadrons. They were kind of marching behind him.
Yeah, I guess they did something.
It was,
Hiccups. So let's talk about Dr. Silo.
Right.
Who is this strange, mysterious new person.
I think it's working.
Yay, it's working!
Yay! I'm trying to balance between 2 computers right now, so we'll see.
Oh, man.
We were just about to start talking about Dr. Silo. Dr. Silo 4 or 5, take your pick.
All I can think of is Battlestar Galactica and the Cylons.
Yeah, it was very Cylon-ish. So I guess, it kind of was implied, or what I got from it was that the Emperor was kind of commissioning Dr. Silo to make these basically everyone's expendable.
Murderous people.
Yeah, everyone's expendable, murderous army people. I guess like the anti-force, if the force is like what brings us all together. This is like making us all murderous separate people. I'm not sure. Fun fact about Dr. Silo that I found out while doing some research this afternoon is that the artist, Salvador La Roca, actually modeled him after himself. So that is what the artist kind of looks like, except not a cyborg.
Wow.
I want to be in that place of power. That's cool. I always thought
Fair
Dr.
enough.
Silo looked like the Terminator. That's all I could think of. Was like, one of those.
Yeah, so I guess, I'm not really, I don't, because I didn't watch the 3rd movie, I don't really know how Darth Vader went from Anakin to Darth Vader. Obviously.
It was a volcano-involved accident.
Yeah, there's a volcano, and
losing some
now he has to
limbs
breathe.
and
Yeah. So it was kind of this thing where, he was kind of talking about how, I guess we're kind of getting into RoboCop here, but, at what point are you less...
human?
Are you more machine than human?
Right, because there all these people they're saying Vader's calling them abominations, and the Emperor keeps coming back with "you're more machine than man." So, where does the line draw, and where is humanity, and all of that good stuff?
Well, I guess I'm torn too, because in a world in which there are droids that can murder people and walk around, and the droids are pretty AI.
They have consciousness, yeah.
They're pretty good. Yeah, they're maybe obeying their owners, but
not
some
really,
of them are
because
very
000 killed his
yeah.
masters.
Well, yeah, that's kind of his programming, though. So, they don't follow the rules of robotics or whatever they're called.
They do their own thing.
First do no harm, unless it's to murder everyone. So it's kind of an interesting situation that we've got now, because now we've got the Empire trying to. I mean, did the Clone Wars teach them nothing? Like,
clearly
that's
not.
what I'm saying. Like, so much happened in the Clone Wars. I'm just like, okay, like, this is your lesson. Like,
yeah. So cloning people's bad. So let's try turning the people into machines instead of just cloning them.
But we are
I don't
making
know.
genetic modifications, though, too.
I mean, it's just like Starkiller Base. They're like, well, the Death Star didn't work out, so maybe this gigantic one will. Like,
let's make a bigger Death Star.
Exactly. But I mean, there's these whole references to the Death Star and whether that was completely arrogant and the one type of solution versus a variety of solutions, and now you have this group that is, they talk about Vader's replacement, but not really, because the Emperor is still clearly kind of pulling Vader along with him. I don't know. It's all over the map.
Yeah, I mean, let's move on to like the plot. So the plot of this is pretty much Darth Vader has just had the world's worst day at the office, and now this is the day after, and his boss is really mad at him because on his worst day at the office, he had a spaceship blow up on him, and managed to be like the one person to escape. But now he has to like go talk to his supervisor, who's really mad at him and is trying to replace him with a robot.
I love the office analogy.
It's like office day, and he has a really bad case of the Mondays.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, because there is kind of this is where kind of, when you're watching the first movie, I mean, I guess you know that there are other things happening than just the Death Star, but it's kind of like in A New Hope, it's kind of like, this is the base of the Empire, so if we destroy this, they'll lose deeply wounded. Yeah. This is kind of like their Yorktown. We're gonna defeat them. And they're gonna be ready.
Our analogies are
just
all over nice tonight. I love it.
We're going to go from Office Space to the American Revolution, whatever.
Reason we're called geeks.
Right.
So I mean, it was kind of like a Darth Vader trying to, I guess, report now up to other people, and the Empire regrouping, but not really regrouping, because the Emperor is just kind of like, you will do as I say, and you don't really. Because if you think Darth Vader's like secret and shrouded in his
metal helmet.
Yeah, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Like in his goals, like his what he wants.
Motivation.
Yeah, his motivations are very shrouded. Like Palpatine's, who knows what that guy wants? Like,
which has always been the case, right? We've never really known.
I thought like the plot, it was pretty slow to me. Like, I got it, but I didn't feel like it was very important, like I was just like, well, we get a little backstory, but like, exactly what though, you know what I mean? I kind of wanted a bit more.
Yeah, if I was reading this by month instead of as a collection, I would probably
not pick up the next one
and drop it. Yeah, because you're just kind of like, what is happening here? It doesn't actually start to pick up until like 5. So you're giving it like almost half a year to actually get someplace, but you've already got a pretty good established base of characters that you would think that you wouldn't have to take 5 issues to
Yeah,
get
because looking back
into where you want to
issue
go.
issue 1, it starts with Jabba and it ends with Boba Fett, really. And in the middle there's the reporting to Emperor Palpatine after the destruction of the Death Star, and that is your issue 1. So it is almost kind of a recap, which is why I kind of feel like if you haven't watched Star Wars, you can kind of get it, from just picking it up and reading it straight up because of the way that issue 1 is. But why would you pick it up if you hadn't watched
Yeah.
Star Wars? So
It'll take
it's
2
kind of
hours out of your life.
it's
Go
that
watch the
weird
movie
line,
first.
right? It's that weird line about new audiences versus established audiences, and giving audiences what they want and love versus trying to give them something new. And I don't think this quite does a very good job of straddling the line between that. And I think that's probably why it's a little slow, and you're just kind of like, all right, what is gonna go here?
Yeah. I think it's
Nope,
also
I
usually heightened if you read the Star Wars comic, because they both intertwine at one point and then they sort of branch off. So I feel like that's how they were getting more people into it. But then again, you shouldn't have to read another one, to read that one, enhance it. Does that make sense?
It's always kind of one of the big problems with some comics, is the giant crossover type things. You're just like, I don't want to read this other book. Tell me what happens in my book.
Yeah. Especially with all the crossover comics, I'm like, oh dear God.
And some of the panels, there's so much going on. It really is kind of hard to figure it out. I mean, they're straightforward in the way the design of the page is, but there's a lot of information in the panels, and it's funny because other comics, some of them we've read, there's so much information, so you go back and we reread just looking at the panels and then, kind of reading them together and trying to gather it all. But I think this one, it's kind of that weird, the story's kind of so you don't really want to go back and look more closely at the panels to see what you did miss. I mean, but there's a lot of detail in them.
It reads very cinematically. I don't know if that's because it's based on, movies, or if that's just kind of the style that they ended up with. But you do get a lot of that. There's a lot of action, a lot of fight scenes, a lot of spanning alien.
There's a lot of stars.
Yeah, a lot of ships traveling. A lot of establishing shots of kind of where we are, and then you have the flashback scenes. And there's not a lot of dialogue, and that's also because Vader's not very dialogue heavy. He's not one to monologue his thoughts and dreams. And so you kind of have these, you get a lot of action moments instead of, I guess, dialogue moments. And like you were saying before with the Force and how when you try to force someone, which is great action in a movie to see someone raise their hand, and if you see them doing this, you can tell that their hand is stationary and they're still doing this. If you're in a comic and your hand is like this, you could just be like,
Hi,
welcome.
Also
it could just be a freeze frame of doing this, or a freeze frame of doing scratching your head.
When he's clenching his fist, I feel on screen, you see it shaking, or something like that. But when it's in the comic, all I can think of is that Arthur meme of little miss. And I just kept laughing. I was just like, oh my God, what is this?
I can't believe you went there. I mean, I can in retrospect, but yeah,
welcome to Meme Town.
Population Travis.
Population Travis. I've been laughing for that Kermit the Frog meme all day.
Well, do you guys want to talk about the arts and the color a bit?
Yeah.
Kind of segueing into that.
What's your favorite panel that you've found? Yeah, I want to see it.
I couldn't even find it.
Oh.
It was.
What was it about?
Actually, I did find it, but it was from issue 7. Was it 7? I think so. I don't.
So we haven't seen it.
It's a big spoiler panel. I thought it was for some reason I'd seen it in that one, but no. I definitely I just love every panel they have with Afra. Just because she's such a cool looking character that every panel she's in, I was like, oh my God, she's going to kick so much ass.
I think the art is really well done because, one of the things with this that you have to worry about is the fact that it is actually based on something that is a real life visual that we know. So everyone knows what Darth Vader looks like. Everyone knows what Boba Fett or Jabba the Hutt or all the various alien races. We kind of have a mental image of what these should look like. And so they do a really good job of capturing the, I guess, the essence of the characters and capturing the costumes and the, I guess, kind of mannerisms of the characters. Like all the stormtroopers are hunched down with their guns, like you see in the movies. But then also, like, you know, Palpatine or Luke, who are actual full-faced characters too. Like they do a pretty good likeness of, you know,
I love the art. I think the art's
are
fantastic in the book, and even.
So even that, like, there's one shot where you were saying, like, this is a place where Anakin was in his childhood with Padme. Is that? Yeah.
Yes.
I was watching a lot of Top Chef, so I almost say Padma. I was watching a lot of Top Chef this weekend, guys.
I'm going to start saying it now, Padma.
Padma Lakshmi and Anakin Skywalker were kissing.
Nice. Now that's a new story.
Well, but you could see just from, like, there was just one tiny little corner panel where it was the two of them in silhouette. I don't even think you could see their faces, but just, like, having a moment, and you could tell just from the silhouette of the two characters, like, that is who those two characters are. Like, there's no word said. It's just, oh, you know, have you ever been here before? And you see that one little screenshot, and you're like, I know exactly what's happening there. And I didn't even see the third movie. Like, but I know what that moment is because it is such a strong visual link back to it. Even
yes, I found it. There it is.
Yeah,
silhouette right there.
I love it. I just love Padme so much. I was so happy when I saw it. I was like, oh, why do you wrong?
The art is great. I mean, it's fantastic. I really this crazy. Where'd it go? I was just flipping. You know, when they go to the Outer Rim and find the bad guy's secret base, which, you know, it's kind of it's actually kind of a funny back and forth between Aphra and Vader, because it's like, I was joking and I'm aware, but, you know, there's no humor.
Joke.
Yeah, but that base is like crazy. It's like creature that's modified, and like the detail in this comic book is incredible.
Yeah, I agree.
Like Darth Vader, like just in every panel, like how glossy they made his like armor look. Like it's just like, ooh, visually pretty.
And his cape flowing, like there is so much movement with his cape in these still comic panels, and that I absolutely love.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, I wish I could draw like that. I'd be happy.
The colors are very muted. You know, it's you know, the dark, obviously Darth Vader and his black, but it doesn't feel, I don't know what the word I'm looking. It doesn't feel flat. It definitely feels multidimensional.
Yeah.
And then you know, the rest of it, you know, it's a lot of like sepia kind of tones with going on, except when things are exploding, and then of course they're oranges and reds.
I think it feels very true to like the colors of the movie too. So when you have this like internal spaceship shots, depending on whose spaceship you're in, but most of the time, like, you have very cool colors because you have like this lighting from like blue floor lamps, so, like, you know, blue floor lights. It just feels very true to the source material. But then others are like, you know, if there's a red light, because it's in space, most of your light is coming from some sort of lighting source. So whatever color the lighting source is, that's what color the whole scene is.
Yeah.
And it looks really authentic to what the book is trying to do, but then also looks authentic to.
And like the cover art too is like super
real life. The cover art is really pretty. The only cover art I did not like was the one that was like 3 or whatever, where you get to meet Dr. Aphra, because I felt she was very sexualized in it.
Oh yeah,
for some reason. It was a very pretty pinup, but I was like,
yes, it's that classic kind of stance going on there.
Yeah,
yes.
But like,
I'm a sexy space lady.
And like, but I keep laughing at the cover for number 2 because Darth Vader is so sassy in it. Like the way he's like walking with his cape and everything.
Oh, he is sassy. Look at that.
I love that cover so much. I'm just like, oh my god, like he's just like, move out of my way, bitches. Like, you know.
It is the way his head is turned. I didn't pause on that to consider how sassy he is, but I love it because he is sassy. And the guys in the background, like, oh, he's too sassy,
I'm gonna make another really great reference right now, and I'm gonna say it's very Zoolander.
Yes,
yes,
exactly.
Walk off.
yes. Oh, and you could totally picture it. That is blue steel going on right there.
Yep, pretty much.
God. I just remember seeing that cover for the first time and like crying, laughing. I was just like, oh my god, I hate Star Wars. Like,
oh, who knew? And now there's a whole new image of Darth Vader in my head.
Sassy Vader.
Fascinating.
Pivot.
Yes.
So usually we would then talk about kind of like the comic in adaptations, but since this comic is an adaptation already, is this something that you would want to see as like a Star Wars 4.5 film, like a different Rogue One?
Well, and that's funny. Maybe not so funny because Rogue One is obviously probably on the forefront of people's minds since it comes out in a couple weeks. But Afra, because of seeing the trailers with, Jin, Afra kind of strikes me similar as in character to just Jin, just very clearly they know what they want. They're going to do whatever the heck they want. And they almost have sort of similar design in some instances with the way they're dressed. Which obviously, same world kind of thing. So, but I was reading this and just kind of thought, man, I can't wait to see Rogue One.
Ooh, do you think it is the same? Do you think that
that'd be a cool tie-in if they did something like that, where they're kind of like, oh, nope, it's Jin.
Just kidding. Yeah, it's
Spoiler
funny.
alert, you knew this character all along.
Right? It was funny. I was starting to think, because, Rogue One, takes place before the Death Star blows up, right?
Yeah, but just before the Death Star blows up. So not like
right. So that is
reasonably out of this timeline.
Right. So there is possibility that maybe Afra could, and so that's what I started thinking about. I was like, I would love to see Afra cross paths with Jin. I think that would be amazing.
Yes, that's what I want more of too. Is more like crossing paths because, like I can't remember his name in Rogue One. Oh my God! Yes.
Yes.
I just want to see 000 in Rogue One.
That'd be awesome.
How can I murder you today?
Right, like just have him in the background, like you just hear like a faint like whisper from him or something. Oh my God, yes.
Good news and bad news. Good news, I got the information. Then kill him. Double good news, he's already dead.
Right? Oh, that was fantastic. I love that part. Doubly good.
Like yes.
But yeah, so I don't, this story itself, like the book I was mentioning earlier, I would love to see that adapted on screen because that is so much fun. Because Ocean's 11, heist movies are just fun in my opinion. But this one, other than Afra and then 000, it's not like I want to see this one played out on the screen. Really, I'm good with it being there.
Yeah, like I think it worked with like a comic and all that, but I feel like we could take certain things like Dr. Afra from it and like add them on the screen. But I definitely wouldn't really care to see this like on the big screen.
This story, yeah. Well, which probably goes back to the whole issue that nobody seems to like Darth Vader.
I mean, I'm excited for him in Rogue One. Like, I got excited when I saw him in the trailer.
Right? Because we love Darth Vader.
I love him as a bad guy, but like, he's a bad guy, so it's kind of like, cool, I don't care about you.
My love for him just stems from my love for Anakin.
So one time, this is a horrible segue. One time my friend, I think her kid was like 2 at the time, and it's one of those like, why is my toddler bawling his eyes out moments?
Which could be anything. Yeah.
Right. But he loves Darth Vader. And he is crying in his high chair, and she's like filming him trying really hard not to crack up. And she's like, why are you crying? And he's like, I'm crying because I don't like Anakin. And you're like, why don't you like Anakin? And he's like, because Anakin becomes Darth Vader. He loves Darth Vader. And he's like,
Oh
like,
my
it'll be okay. And he's like, no, it won't be. I'm gonna cry forever. And that is why he was bawling his eyes out. It was because Anakin became Darth Vader.
I love that so
See,
much.
I mean, yeah, there are
So
issues.
you've
So,
got one
yeah.
2-year-old who loves Darth Vader.
He's my
Oh,
soul.
God.
There, I'm connected to that 2-year-old.
Yep, he's 4 now, so
Oh, okay. See, there we go.
still loves Star Wars. So let's get
Oh
up.
my
We're running
God.
out of time. So just closing thoughts on the book, recommendations, yes, no, who you would recommend it to.
I would recommend it to like more hardcore Star Wars fans, like if you wanted to like know more about what happened in the movies or whatever. But like to like new comic book readers, I would definitely recommend like the Star Wars series and not the Darth Vader series, because the Star Wars series is more characters that Leia, Han, like all that, Chewbacca, and then but to a lot of people, it just like it was good, like I liked it, but it wasn't my favorite thing like I've read.
I
Breaking my
definitely,
computer.
yeah, I definitely agree. I think, if you are a hardcore Star Wars fan, then, you might get more out of it because you might, connect more dots or even connect dots that we haven't seen because we haven't delved into some of the deeper canon type things, So, I think, someone like that would definitely enjoy it. Otherwise, the more casual fans, it's okay. I love seeing sassy Darth Vader and just seeing his cape billow. So, for me, it was happy. I also, got it from the library, so I didn't pay money for it
You're like,
either.
"Oh, good."
So,
Yeah.
I think that makes a difference too. Obviously, I would not go out and buy this one, and I'm a big Darth Vader fan. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. I also got it from the library and would not necessarily spend money on it, but I would
Probably
recommend
why
it to people.
yeah. Go ahead. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, that's fine. I was gonna say I would recommend it to the same, like people who are really into the Star Wars universe and who like comics. And I have friends who are the universe and like comics, and I think this would be great for them. And if you're looking to delve more into the Star Wars universe, I would definitely recommend this to you as well. But if you like just seeing the movies, you don't
That's
necessarily
fine,
have
too.
to, even though it's canon. Yeah, it doesn't have to be read by any means.
No.
Yeah.
You can perfectly bridge the gap from A New Hope to Empire Strikes Back without any of the comics.
Yes. There's not really any like
Unless there's
crucial
an
information.
Ewok comic.
Right, except for the Ewoks.
Okay, cool. Well, that'll about wrap it up for us. So we were chatting. There will be no December hangout. I'm trying to force you, I guess. I don't know why I just forced it. We will not meet in December.
Just do the angry
Because
fist.
everybody's having so much fun enjoying their holidays. Whatever you
Yes, everyone
celebrate.
should have nice, fun, family, friend, holiday fun time.
Yay.
And then we'll be back in January. And when I say we, I mean not me. Meghan and Travis will be back in January. I will have a newborn at that point. So if you are interested in guest joining Meghan and Travis and talking about comics, if you have suggestions for what you'd like to read in January, let us know. You can, what's the Twitter? Eagle Comics? At
Eagle Comics.
Yes.
Yep.
At
Yep.
Eagle Comics. Or you can reach out
any
to
one of
Meghan
us.
or Travis.
Yeah.
Yeah, our Twitter's always open.
Feel free to plug your Twitter handle.
At Travis the Grim with 2 N's.
At me Sully, MESULLI. You can always chat with us and talk comics. Yay!
For my Twitter's mainly like
Yay, comics.
Overwatch and like memes, so I'm sorry for whoever follows it.
It's true.
But
Sorry, he's not
sometimes you
sorry.
need, right? Sometimes you need a good meme.
See, right? I got your memes. Come get them. Like,
It's like our secret handshake now. All right, we're all having a little too much Thanksgiving fun.
Yes.
Okay, we'll see you in January.
Bye.
bye, everyone.